This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 5, Episode 4, Sugriv and Vali. Ram was extremely distressed upon seeing Sita's ornaments. Sugriv took him aside and reassured him. Sugriv promised, "I will do whatever it takes to get Sita back for you. Karishyami tatha yatnam yatha prapsyasi maithilim." Sugriv also urged Ram to get over his grief. "Please, do not despair. Look, my situation is just like yours, and I am sad too, but I do not brood over it. If you carry around the weight of your sorrow, you will sink in grief, just like an overloaded boat sinks in water. It is unworthy of you to be like this. And don't get me wrong, hitam vayasya bhavena brumi na upadishami te. I am not lecturing you. I only speak out of concern as a friend." Ram saw the merit in what Sugriv was saying and picked himself up. He began to focus on the immediate task of helping Sugriv. Note, for Ram, Sita's loss was absolutely crushing. We saw this first at Panchavati, then on the banks of Pampa, and now at Rishyamukh. But every time, Ram got back on his feet. Valmiki is telling us that the ideal person is not devoid of emotions. Being emotional is not a sign of weakness, as long as we don't remain stuck in negative thoughts and learn to rise beyond them. Learn to channel our emotions into purposeful action. Later, Ram asked Sugriv, "What can I do for you? How did you and Vali become enemies? Please, tell me everything." Sugriv told his story. "Vali is my elder brother. When our father, the king of Vanaras, passed away, Vali was the obvious successor. He was capable, popular, and well respected. Even I held him in high regard. So, Vali inherited the kingdom, and I happily served under him. Once late at night, an Asur called Mayavi came to the gates of Kishkindha. Screaming angrily, Mayavi challenged Vali to a duel. The two were bitter enemies because of a fight over a woman. Mahadvairam Stri Kritam Pura. Vali could not bear the taunts and came out to fight Mayavi. I was right behind. When Mayavi saw us both coming, he got scared and started running away. We went after him in hot pursuit. Shortly, we saw him dive into a cave. When we got to the entrance of the cave, Vali said to me, 'You wait here. I shall go inside and deal with my enemy.' Vali went inside the cave, and I waited and waited. After a long time, I noticed some blood flowing out of the cave, and then I heard a roar, and it was not my brother's voice. I thought Mayavi had killed Vali. So, I blocked the entrance of the cave with a large rock and returned to Kishkindha. The ministers insisted that I should now be the king, and I accepted. After some time, Vali returned. He was alive and well. Mayavi had not killed him inside the cave. In fact, he had killed Mayavi. He had then somehow pushed the rock that blocked the entrance and come out. He got back to Kishkindha and saw that I had been coronated. He assumed that I had trapped him inside the cave to usurp the kingdom I tried to convince him that it was an honest mistake. I had no desire to rule over the kingdom like this. He could have the kingdom back. I pleaded with him to forgive me. But Vali did not believe me. He threw me out of the kingdom with nothing but the clothes that I was wearing. And he forcibly took my wife, Ruma. This is my story. Please help me. Ram calmly replied, "This Vali, who has abducted your wife, has violated the moral code. For this, he shall die." Sugriv was pleased to hear this. To work out the next steps, he said, "Now let me tell you about Vali's strength, courage, and valor. Please listen carefully, and then you can decide what is to be done." Vali regularly runs long distances. He can even run uphill without getting tired. He is so strong that he can break several sturdy trees in no time. One day, the mighty Dundubhi challenged Vali to a duel. He had come dressed as a buffalo. Dharayan Mahisham Rupam. Until then, no one had been able to defeat Dundubhi. He was as strong as 1,000 elephants. But even he was no match for Vali. Vali punched and kicked him, hit him with rocks and tree branches. He whirled him around and threw him down. The blows knocked the wind out of Dundubhi, and Vali was charged up more than ever. Vali lifted the massive Dundubhi and smashed him down on the ground, killing him instantly. He then picked up the dead body and hurled it afar. By the way, this fight took place in the forest near Matang Muni's ashram. The Muni had tended to the forest lovingly for many years. Now Vali had despoiled and defiled it. Many trees were broken, and there was blood everywhere. The furious Muni cursed Vali that he would die if he ever came back to the area. Vali begged forgiveness, but the Muni did not even speak to him. And that is the reason why I have taken shelter here. This is the only place where Vali cannot come after me. O Ram, Vali is immensely powerful. How will you be able to face him? Upon hearing that question, Lakshman smiled, and he asked Sugriv, "What can Ram do to convince you?" Sugriv looked around and pointed to a row of 7 sal trees. Many a time, Vali has split these 7 sal trees one by one. If Ram can split any of them with just one arrow, I will be confident that he can overpower Vali. Ram, I am not trying to scare you or insult you, but I know what my brother is capable of, and I have never seen what you can do. And then, Pratyayartham Mahateja Ramo Jagraha Karmukam. Ram picked up his bow to inspire confidence in Sugriv. He pulled hard and released an arrow with such great force that it pierced not one, but all 7 sal trees. Sugriv was stunned, delighted, and convinced. He said, "O Ram, Vali is my enemy in the guise of a brother. Valinam Jahika Kutstha Maya Baddhoya Manjali. For my sake, kill him. I implore you." Iti, her, asa. That is how it happened.